Hi everyone, this is John with HeartSpeak. I'm here with Carolyn O'Brien Kardos in the studio, and we're recording a few stories. The first gem, we called it the Great Energy Moment Gem by HeartSpeak, was Carolyn's story. The second story was Symptoms and Myths of Ovarian Cancer. The third was she told a story of a survivor. Now we're finding the fourth story, and as a survivor of 11 years, Carolyn's mission is to make awareness to other women to protect themselves. How are you doing that?
Well, I do it a lot of different ways. My pretty obvious day-to-day thing that I do is I have teal hair. I drive a teal Jeep. I have a teal camper. I wear teal clothes. So inevitably, wherever I go, people will say, "Oh, I love the color of your hair," or "Look at that pretty purse you have," or at the drive-thru, "I've seen your Jeep before, I love the color." This gives me an in with women. I have my own cards that I pass out with my personal information on it, and on the back has the symptoms and the myths, things they need to do. And so when they mention those things, it gives me an in to tell them my story, to tell them the importance of being aware, and just talk to them. And 99% of the time, women are like, "I didn't know that," even to the point where they didn't know that teal was the color for ovarian cancer awareness.
That's something I learned.
Yep.
I did not know.
Everybody knows pink is for breast. Nobody knows teal is for ovarian. I'm trying to change that.
Well, you taught me.
Yep. So I do that every day, wherever I go. I have now into my fourth box of cards handing out to people. So I have handed out over 1,500 cards all over the country, from gas stations and airplanes and Burger King drive-thrus. Anybody that will talk to me, that comes up to me, I won't approach people and myself, because I don't think that's proper. But if they come to me and start the conversation, they get the lecture. And I've had a couple of women that one time I was in TJ Maxx and in Fairfield, Connecticut, and I was feeling very down. I lost my husband 5 years ago, and so I had visited his gravesite on his birthday, and so I wanted to cheer up. So, how can you cheer up more than go to TJ Maxx? So I walked into TJ Maxx, and I looked to the right, and they had Halloween stuff out, so I walked over to look at it, and this young girl was standing there with a carriage, and I got talking to her. She mentioned my hair, so I talked to her and told her my story, gave her a card, she walked away. Well, maybe 3 minutes later, she came back to me, and she said, "I had to come back and talk to you. I think my grandmother made me come here to talk to you. I think this was meant to be." She said, "My grandmother died of ovarian cancer, and this is our first Christmas without her." And she was just, the two of us started crying and hugging. I don't know this girl. I've never seen her since. But I think I was placed there to give her a message from her grandmother that says, "Take care of yourself. You need to know this stuff." And that happens to me all the time. And so this is what I do. I also belong to a couple of organizations. A local one is called Hope for Heather. They're in Syracuse, New York. I started with them because when I was in Houston getting treatments, my friend that I worked with felt like she wanted to do something in honor of me. So she found a 5K run, and she and 5 or 6 of the girls that I worked with went and did the run, the Hope for Heather run. So the next year, I went with them. We got a team together, and I went with them. And I met a couple of fabulous people there, Frida Weeks and her husband Gary. Heather was their daughter. She was a dancer, she was on Broadway, brilliant, beautiful young lady. And she actually worked for a national ovarian cancer group. And she told her mother she was quitting the theater because she thinks she could really help women to do this. Not long after she started working for them, she developed colon cancer, and she passed away pretty quickly. And so when that happened, she was 24, Frida and Gary were like, what can we do to honor our daughter? And because that was Heather's mission, that is now their mission. And this is like a 24/7, 365 thing that these people do. It's 100% nonprofit. They don't take a paycheck. They go all over and to ball games and to whoever will take them, music festivals. They put up a booth and have cards and symptom cards and talk to people. And they've raised I don't even know how much the money they have raised for research, but it's like over $1 million so far. And so I am still part of that organization, and I will travel from Florida to Syracuse for the New York State Fair, which is the last 2 weeks in August and ends on Labor Day. We have a booth. It's in the Science and Industry Building, and we talk to women all day long. We are there from the time the gates open till the time the gates close, all 13 days. And I meet a lot of people. I talk to a lot of women. We pass out a lot of cards. Now, the national organization that I am now affiliated with also is the Ovarian Cancer Research Alliance. They're out of New York City. OCRA is what they go by. And they are also a nonprofit, very small group, but huge impact. They every year give grant money to researchers. They have doctors that submit what they want to do research on, and they have a panel of doctors and survivors who look at the things and, okay, we think this is important to get done and this is important to get done, and then they will give, depending on how much money they have, the doctors the money to do their information. They also have a conference every year, which actually starts this Wednesday. I've been to a lot of them. Before COVID happened, I went to Washington, D.C. twice. When the conferences are in Washington, D.C., after the conference, we have appointments with senators and congressmen to talk to them to try and keep the funding going for ovarian cancer. It's not a whole lot in comparison to some of the other cancers that get money. We get very little. So we go and we lobby there, if that's what, I think that's what you call lobby. Make sure that they know we want more money. So we do that. I've been to Chicago, I've been to Seattle, I've been to at their conferences. Then COVID hit, and so now we're all virtual. But that is a wonderful organization. And again, the amount of money that they spend for administrative things is minimal. You look at the facts of how much money, Google, how much money actually goes to cancer patients for the American Cancer Society, and then go look at ORCA's site and see how much money it costs them to run their business and the percentage of money that they give to help women. It's not even comparable, the percentage. I don't know for sure, but it's 90 and 10 or something like that.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Carolyn, for doing all that. And I'm going to go to another question, and
Okay.
we'll be right back at the studio. I'm going to ask you another question to sum it up. I thought something I want to say. I hope you don't mind me saying. I put together. I'm going to say it right now.
Okay, wait, don't,
Stop.
wait.
Well, I want to tell them too other things that I do.
Okay,
because,
good.
like,
That was getting long, so we'll do another one.
Okay.